Hi everyone, my name's Hamish. I'm currently studying mechanical engineering and commerce at Monash and I'm in 4th year. Thanks everyone for submitting your questions. They've been super cool to kind of see what the community wants to hear. So I'll just jump straight into answering some of those. Joel from Dandenong North asks, so he says there's a growing emphasis on the bioeconomy and bioplastics. As we move towards this, is there still a place for the recycling of plastics? I'd say there's definitely still a place for recycling plastics because, you know, plastics is such a great material that it lasts so long. So there's still this massive accumulated mass of plastics that aren't bioplastics that can still be recycled and reused. So I think definitely, even as we move towards bioplastics and production of new plastics that are less harmful, we can still definitely reuse the plastics that still exist. In heaps of applications. So I'd say definitely still important to be looking into new ways of recycling and better ways of using these products that currently exist as opposed to relying on virgin plastic. Ben via Facebook asks, can you mix different types of plastic together and does this affect the temperature you need to heat it up to? You certainly can mix different types of plastic together, however we really try not to mix the plastic together solely because once you mix, one type of plastic with another type of plastic and they come together, it's going to really change the material properties. So say you have polypropylene and HDPE, if you mix them together, suddenly they're not going to melt consistently. You might have to heat it up to, say 300 degrees to get one to melt and the other one might be burning because it's just far too hot. So you definitely can mix it, but we really try to not mix it in the work that we do. In addition to that, if you know that it's just one type of plastic and you haven't mixed it, it's much easier to recycle. Freya from Nunawading asks, how do you get the color gradient or the marbling on your products? If this is the sheet here, we put different colors of plastic, the same type of plastic, so whether it be polypropylene or HDPE or whatever, different types of plastic, and then you can just put it in different patches with different colors, and you can almost like set out the color yourself, and then as it melts it all kind of infuses together and creates that kind of tie-dye-ish marbly pattern. And then to really bring out the colors when you're finished, it's really a matter of going through the finishing process, so sanding it and polishing it and using like almost like as you would detail a car, you really have to polish it and finish it, and that brings out the subtle kind of marbly effects which can make it look like a really high-end product. Cootie from Canada, do your machines require ventilation? If so, do you accomplish this with a special machine or do you need to operate your machines in a large warehouse? Absolutely, our machines require ventilation. So as the plastic's melting and being shredded and that kind of thing, it can sometimes lead to gases being released. Some plastics are worse than others, so in the example of like polystyrene or PVC, the gases are actually quite harmful, so you really don't want to inhale that. So what we do is, especially in the new workspace that we've got at Monash, there's a big exhaust, probably like a 2 metre by 2 metre square exhaust that we like to put our machine whenever we're operating it underneath that, so that all the gases that, whether we shredding or using the oven or injection molding or anything like that, all the gases then are exhausted out, and then so we're not causing harm to the people around us. So it's super important to operate them in a well ventilated space or to operate them outside, something like that. And the last question is Geordie from Q. Geordie asks, can 3D prints be recycled into filament that can be 3D printed again? Yes, and that's something that we've actually had a look at, and some people in Melbourne and in Australia are already doing this. So the plastic that is used in 3D printing can definitely be re-shredded and then extruded into like a thin wire, which can then be put on a spool and then be used to 3D print again. The biggest thing is just to control the diameter of that filament as it comes out. Because that's going to be really important to ensure the quality of the 3D print when you go to reprint it. So yeah, absolutely you can, but yeah, it's a bit of a tricky process to set up a machine to keep that diameter accurate, but once you do that, you can absolutely recycle it and just continue to use the offcuts. That's all the questions we've had so far. It's been awesome to see the engagement from the community and hear what you guys want to ask. It's really cool to see that you have these questions and you're interested in what we're doing. So cheers, thanks.